So with it, so I want to give y'all a little bit of an update uh, on the last, I would say, 90 days of my wonderful experience in the Church of Latter-day Saints. What a amazing experience, ladies and gentlemen. Um, got some nice highlighted scriptures from my baptism. A lot of support. Got a lot of things to look over and read. Just a wonderful, inspirational book. This was the book that I got at my baptism, and everybody, or whoever could, shared some scriptures with me. It was very nice, and I very appreciated that. So what's going on? Let's talk a little bit. Welcome to the show. I wanted to inform my subscribers, because you count. You like the shareholders, right? So we're going to be making some huge moves in some cases, okay? Don't worry about the blah. We're going to make some huge moves. Uh, right now, we're backing off of President Trump. God is with him, our president, and this assassination after assassination attempt, but the president is still holding firm. So we'll let everything catch up in its real time. But again, we want to get you updated on how it's been going in the Church of Latter-day Saints. I think that right now, respectfully, that is the biggest story. Now, uh, for the last 30 days, I've been in a very interesting transition, if you will. What's been transitional is the simple fact that we have been going from um, preparing myself to take part in tons of activity from not being a part of activity. Very different situation. Um, and entering into the church, what tends to happen is there's a phase, and there's this period of you getting your feet grounded into the church, right? And so, as this is being done, as you're getting there, right? There's all of the talk, there's all of the conversation, there's all of the cult, the this, the that. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Peace and blessings to you. Where are you talking about? I'm talking about my transition right now into the Church of Latter-day Saints and into the Mormon church. And funny to have a tree behind me, because one of the first things that they told me um, as I was getting baptized is that I'm going to get to work on my family tree. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a nice gesture of the church to offer that and to encourage you to get started with that, right? No offense. Some people come into a church and I don't know what the church is offering. You understand me? They give you more at a gym membership than some of these churches. You're constantly just paying, and it's like, what? So anyway, so I build up enough nerve and I do enough research. What's going on? And I say to myself, I says, you know what? I'm gonna get into this church because I love the modesty of the church. I love the family of the church. Your stream is growing. It is. It is. I love the modesty of the church. I love the brotherhood of the church. I love the resources of the church. I love the philanthropy of the church. And I'm saying, why is everybody calling this a cult? What am I not getting? What am I not seeing here? And so what I come to find out is that it's not that the church is a cult. Anything that does not go with the Jeffrey Epstein class, anything that does not go with the sexually diverse agenda is a cult. Okay? And so this is where they're going. This is what's actually happening. And so I'm super excited. Guys, this has been a great transition into the church. Let me just give you a couple of ideas of what's been going on. So I just got the priesthood, right? The Aaronic priesthood. And for those who don't know, this is a introduction for young men and men in general into the church to learn how to start doing things. Now, I don't know if anybody have ever went into the church and have learned a little bit about how education is doled out, how Sunday school is done. but it is done in a very orderly and functional fashion. You've never seen nothing like this. No offense. And I've come from the black community. Our churches is very dysfunctional. You come in there, you stand up and testify. We don't know where the hell you're from. And, if we got a little bit of fried chicken and cornbread at the end, you can get some, and come on to church. Come, you can smoke a little weed, a little liquor. You can do, you know, do your thing, hallelujah. Here is a little bit different. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Um, and again, this was one of the most interesting things I've ever seen in my life, is that there's not a lot of dysfunctional and then wiggle room for you to be going all over the place. Hello. There's not a lot of wiggle room for you to be losing yourself. There's not a lot of wiggle room for you to basically be trying to feel and find your own way. It is a very structured environment, and that's one thing that I really, 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 really love. Another important thing about the church, and in my transition into the church, it's orderly. You get a certificate of baptism, right? No one's coming around like, hey, you need to set up, and pay us any dues, any fees, and things like that. There's none of that. Okay. They actually explain every single thing. Now, this book right here may confuse a lot of people, right? I'm here to help you with that. I'm going to help you. Now, me being an avid reader of the Bible, of the Torah, the Injil, an avid reader of the Quran, an avid reader, and growing up in New York, being part of the 5%ers, being a God body, you're not going to get a young, dumb guy to just come in here, oh, I'm dumb, I'm black, hit me over the head with the Book of Mormon. Yeah, y'all got it all the way messed up. Y'all trying to play me. What's going on? Peace and blessings. The church is lit. Yo, this church is lit. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Give me 1 second. It's going down. You heard me? Y'all better not go nowhere, because if you do, I'm going to slap y'all. Stay right here. We're going to talk about it. This church is lit. Okay, yay! Do you have the book?
Yes.
How are you today? Great? Good. Sure. Okay. It's okay. All right. So, we lit over here. You hear me? We lit. Yeah. So, this church is lit, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. We're finna get down in a second. Now, again, being that I had transitioned out of the streets, out of New York, you understand? Really, you can't really pee on my feet and tell me it's raining. Whether it has to do with the earth being flat, or the firmament, or the sky being blue, the Bermuda Triangle, no matter what it is that's pretty tricky and people don't have a lot of information on, there's a lot of foolishness out there, right? And the same thing with this book. When you hear about this book, there's a lot of foolishness out there, right? People are making things up. People are saying that this is crazy, and I ain't gonna lie. When I first heard Jesus came to America, what is this, a Saturday morning cartoon? But I says, wait a minute. Let me do a little bit of research. Let me hear a little bit more. Hey, Morgan Freeman, where are you going? So I said, let me do a little bit of research here, and I want to know a little bit more. So upon doing my research, what I learned is, just like everything in this world that you have realized have went to shit, right? The cars have went, excuse my French, the cars have went to trash. The bread is terrible. The water is terrible. The milk is terrible. They're spraying the goddamn skies, right? Everything is messed up. You can't even find any good meat unless you go to some sort of local butcher. The same thing has happened to the Bible, right? The Bible is just like going to get some gas station coffee. It has been so watered down. It has been so carved out, okay, from the original translations. You go into Ethiopia, you go into some of these other holy cities, even Jerusalem, you go and get the Dead Sea Scrolls. By the way, you can tell America anything. Hey, this is the Dead Sea Scrolls right here. This is where we got everything. And they're like, oh, wow, the Dead Sea Scrolls. What a great Jehovah's Witness. Oh, my God, I'm a good Baptist. Here's the Dead Sea Scrolls. Did you even look at that? No, why would I? Did you even check the translation? No. How about the authenticity? No. Of course you didn't. Anyway, what we are learning now is, again, the book, the so-called Bible, have been, and they did a wonderful special I appreciate on ABC, CBS, and PBS. They have showed how the Bible, specifically in America, we're not talking about other countries in Europe, because Europe is truly liberal. They'll take out there, they might not even got 66 books. But they took out so much of the Bible for different purposes. One, to create the monarchy power. Two, to create colonialism. Three, to create a platform for slavery. Now, most Negroes in the Chitlin Circuit, the black church, only got a watered down version of the gospel, right? Obey your master, and here you go, black church guy, get in there and get the saints to picking cotton. That's what actually happened. So again, most black folk never even, 85% of black people never even read the Bible from cover to cover. Did you hear me? 85% of black folk don't even have a passport. So I said, wow, I thought about that. This book right here is a testimony, okay? A testimony to the authenticity and the blind spots, like how you backing up in reverse and you could barely see. The Bible is like backing up in reverse. You can't see very good. This is a testimony of the authenticity of the gospel, and a ruler, if you will, to help you measure how the Bible should read. Right? That's why so many people today don't know nothing about the firmament, because the Bible is designed like fishing in a speedboat for you to go right by it. The 6 days that God created the earth, it's designed for you to keep on going. The Garden of Eden and the snake, keep on going. Just quickly read. Hey, so God, the snake, and the firmament, and and then there was the book of Numbers, and then Moses, the Mosaic Lord, Jesus Christ, and hallelujah, we save and give your life to God, and come on and put that money in there. That's exactly how the Bible was written. This book does not let you do that. It holds you accountable. And again, many people, respectfully, I call them the denominational churches. The denominational churches who have the power, right? They're like a club. They're like the bankers, no offense. They're like the international bankers. These are the guys who tell you how much money you can spend, what's the interest rates on the IMF Bank and the Federal Reserve. And no offense to them, I guess they're doing a good job. But a lot of these people are controlling our finances, and we can't do nothing about it. It's just the way it is. So the denominational churches are like a club, like in a treehouse. They get together and determine who's Christian, who's not, who gets to share information, who doesn't. Well, these groups got together, and they did not like Joseph Smith, because Joseph Smith was in a Paul-like situation. Paul was not around with Jesus. Paul didn't get to touch Jesus, smell Jesus. He didn't get to do anything with him. Supposedly, Paul did the same thing that Joseph Smith did. Hey, guys, I'm walking down the street, and I seen a light flash, and Jesus was there. Come on, Paul, stop playing. Paul, like, no, for real, look at my eyes. He had to go to Ananias, and one who actually was told, okay, Paul ain't lying. Other than that, they would have thought that Paul was just like Joseph Smith. That nigga crazy. Okay? Now, Paul is told, now you're going to have to go and tell the disciples who think that they know more than you, and they are established, and they know, and they seen Jesus. And you got to tell them, you ain't seen me, but you was traveling down the street on some animal, and blam, I flashed in front of you, and I gave you, and I'm going to put you over the church. I'm going to have you, Paul, write most of the scriptures and make you the presiding overseer over the 12 that walked with me. Paul is like, man, how are they not going to take this correctly? Peter, John, Timothy, all of these brothers, they not finna listen to me. Luke and all of Matthew. He said, well, I want you to do it anyway. So exactly what Paul does. Paul goes and he tells them, listen. And at some point, they accept it. The same thing happened in modern times. Now, the reason why Paul was sent after the disciples was because they were starting to go astray. They were starting to have that denominational churches thing about them, where they were not going to go out preaching because the government out there looking for us. We done denied Jesus. We scared. It's real out there in the streets. We ain't trying to get put up there on this. Paul was a different breed. Paul said, look, I was in the streets. I don't give a fuck about that. We're going outside and we're going preaching. And let's go now. Paul is crazy. You damn right. Well, they know Paul was out there killing and tripping. So, pardon me, they was like, I'm there, my mouth was watering. Ooh, boy, chop. They said, okay, we're going to go with Paul. We're going to believe Paul. The same thing happened with this. Joseph Smith gets approached by Jesus Christ and God. And he knows that denominational churches are misleading the house of God. They've been carving the Bible up. They've been only making it available to some black folks, some slaves. They're burning people. If you get caught reading this, you understand me? If you were not a monarch, if you were not part of the royal family or part of the duchess, you could not understand this. You were not even allowed to read in most cases. You understand me? So the Book of Mormon comes around, and it is basically educating people to the things that they are hiding from people. So what they do, they create a campaign, the denominational churches, they create a campaign that makes Joseph Smith look crazy, knowing that people are starting to hear about the Apocrypha, people are starting to hear about the Book of Enoch, people are starting to hear about the Giz in Ethiopia, and they're like, wait a minute, so the Bible we got is false, or all of it ain't there? Exactly. And that's what this was for. It filled in the blanks. So again, these denominational churches who have the power, like the bankers, to set the interest rates, to set the dollar, to set the credit cards, to set the loans and everything for the world. The same thing happens with the denominational churches. They get together, right? No, I'm not gonna name them, but the denominational churches get together and they decide that, listen, we can't let nobody read this crap right here. This guy right here is informing people and educating them to what happens, because they cut it out. So there's a whole life, right, from 12 to like 32, where Jesus is like crusading around the world, and he's going to the Americas, maybe stopping in the Indian Ocean, and he's like, everyone is seeing this, everyone is recording this, but again, in the Americas, they chop this out. They get rid of this, and you're not able to know. But people who have common sense, some of them are going, man, how did they just jump from 12 to 30? Like, what's going on here? Now you begin to see. So again, these denominational churches is what I call them. They have tried, and they have been putting a smear campaign against the Church of Latter-day Saints. Now you got to ask yourself, because we believe everything we do. We believe the fake news. Now, wait a minute. These people are supporting man and woman getting married. Not man and man, not woman and woman, but they're supporting a man and a woman getting married, but yet we're calling this as a cult. They believe in homeschooling, putting money into the education of their children, but we're calling this a cult. Now, this is the same thing that happens in Hollywood. When you don't want to get on a couch and bend over so they can give you a record deal, honey, guess what? They say he on medication, something crazy with him, he lost his mind. You know how the game go. When you don't comply with them, they try to do you like Dave Chappelle. They try to do you like my boy Jamie Foxx. They try to make you crazy to the public so they can put you on medication like they did Kanye West, right? So the same thing is happening with these denominational churches, right? They are like big pharmaceutical companies, okay? These big denominational churches have the power to basically put out smear campaigns. And that's just what they did, because they do not want the modern day, everyday America American to read this book. Okay, because then you're gonna sit up there and go like this. Wait a minute. Let me open up Genesis again. Oh, wait a minute. There is a firmament? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So Jesus did travel all the way to the Americas? Why would he not? Right? And so again, they've got us thinking that the old world is the places that you heard of in the Bible, when that is more of the new world, if you will. Where we live in the America, if any of you got a chance to do any exploration into the Mayan area, into the ocean, into the Bermuda Triangle, you go, wait a minute, there's a lot of old kingdoms under the water. That's what they say Atlantis is. What is going on? The Grand Canyon, they got all these pyramids and things like that. Man, what's going on? This might be Egypt. So what the hell did they build in Egypt? I went to see it myself. No offense. Whatever they got in Egypt, that ain't where the pharaohs were. That is something that they done put together, cut and paste. No offense. You can say whatever you want, honey. Okay? If you ain't been, shut your mouth. And that's why when you travel around the America, you say, man, how come I didn't even know we had desert around here. I didn't know we had all these mountains and pyramids. Guess what? The average American don't even leave their damn state. I don't expect you to believe or know anything that I'm saying to you. Child, half of y'all don't even know your father. Did I say something wrong? See, now that it gets explained in a very different way, you start to go like this. I knew it. That's what they do. That's what they do. They lie to you about everything. Right? So now when you start to realize, wait a minute, so how did Joseph Smith, he gets these tablets, right? And he's writing like this Egyptian stuff, and he's talking about the tribes that are here. You start to put it together, right? When you couple what the Moors have said, when you couple what the Native Americans have said, when you start to couple who Black Americans are, when you start to just peel back the onion and look at the history of this country and the Olmecs and the Mayans, you start to go, no wonder you're going to demonize this book. No wonder you're going to try to sell it and put it off as these people are crazy. Even though when you walk down the street, the people who got a miniskirt on, they got these big eyelashes, big titties out here with their cleavage showing, talking about they a coat. Get away from them. They a coat. And this woman here got it on a dress all the way down to the floor. She ain't going to no club. She not hanging out. Okay? She ain't bisexual, none of that. And you telling me that she the coat? And the people who telling you that they the coat, he sit there with a can of beer in his hand talking about they the coat. Think about it. See, they got you looking stupid. Right? This is what we're starting to realize in our country. The things that we've been told don't make no damn sense. It's fake news. Big time. They sitting up in here lying. And if you're a black person, you know history has been so distorted it's not even funny. Okay? They are deceiving people like you wouldn't even believe, left and right. And that's why I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance. Man, this is some, ooh boy. I'm gonna take a chance and I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna take a look and see what's in here. And I said, man, that was when I figured out what they say, golden tablets. Okay? Your God doesn't exist. Exactly the God you've been told exists doesn't actually exist. What God is that? Thank you. What God is that? Now, first of all, sir, I've studied Islam, I've studied Christianity, Judaism, 5%er. I studied Scientology. I studied the Anunnaki. I've studied many, many, many disciplines. The Hebrew Israelisms, okay, the Moors. And when I sit up here and hear y'all talk and say some of the stupid stuff y'all say, I'm saying to myself, I know y'all are very unlearned, untrained, and you would think that I would get up here and somebody gonna pay me $10 to get up here and represent this. You need to read this book. That's the problem with y'all. And no offense, I gotta say it's the truth. They said if you want to hide anything from Negroes, black folk, put it in a book. Now that stands for all Americans nowadays. I'm just keeping it real. They're not gonna open it up. Okay, people won't even open a dictionary. Okay, some people don't even open their mail. Okay, so then this is what they do, y'all. The Mormons was racist. So was George Washington. So was the police department. I still want to be a police officer. When you was a police officer back in the day, if you was black, it was hard to be a police officer. So was the military. Back in the day, not only the Tuskegee Airmen, black people in general, we couldn't even, our platoon, we couldn't even get no shoes. And we sit up here fighting a war for the country and you ain't giving us no shoes? What kind of foolishness is that? Then we couldn't even eat in the same restaurant. So why y'all harping on the Latter-day Saints? What's that about? We couldn't even be buried in the same graveyards with white people. So what about that? What's the big deal? See, you don't want to talk about that. You only want to talk about what makes sense to you. You understand me? Black folk couldn't even get into Congress. You understand me? We couldn't hold governatory positions. We couldn't be principals in this country. So what are you talking about? The Jehovah's Witnesses, which I used to be one at some point, you had to sit on one side of you was white, and you had to sit on the other side of you was black. And there was no interracial marriage, there was no interracial nothing, worship, none of that. Same thing in the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, but why all of a sudden there is such a push against the Church of Latter-day Saints? Think about that. Did I say something wrong? You just don't think people gonna wake up, right? I was in the Latter-day Saints, I promise you, the other day. I'm up in there chilling. I met this dude, he from Louisiana. He looked at me. I said, where you from, man? He said, Louisiana. I said, I'm from New York. Dapped me up. He was like, yo, bro, I'm so happy you here. I said, the same thing. We get it. It's not everybody who gonna find the light. It's not everybody who not gonna let color determine their reality. You understand me? Some people are still stuck in that old Democratic Negro chitlin shit, and they're calling us the Uncle Sam and Uncle Tom, and they are letting these old Uncle Tom mechanisms, racism, hold you back from seeing the real truth. So they robbing us blind, and you talking about racism. They got plasma clinics on every corner, and you talking about racism. Child, y'all done lost your doggone mind. But when you wake up and you're not stuck in that anymore, this is why black folks got out of slavery. Because when blacks and whites, whether they were indentions or not, we got together, slavery people was like, yo, these people who came together, they powerful. You understand me? I understood that from a young kid. He just like white girls. Listen, I like black girls, Hispanic girls, Iranian girls, okay, Omanian girls, Turkish girls. I've been all over the world. That's why I put the picture up. I had 2 girlfriends in my lifetime that was Vietnamese. I love Asian girls too. So what's that about? You see, when you really get a chance to break these people down, they start sounding stupid and looking stupid. They have nothing to say. And that old racist stuff, it don't work, man. Nobody want to hear that. This is Indian food. I can't wait to go to India. I love India. Sri Lanka. All that, bro. I'm international, bro. I'm not your average nigga, bro. For real, for real. Your brother, I done been to Germany. I done been to London, Kenya, Ethiopia, Egypt. So, and this is another thing they don't like about me. God, see, that's what I'm saying. God has blessed me. I'm not your average Negro, bro. God has looked out for me because of all the stuff I've been through. My mama was poor. She was on welfare. She had paper food stamps. Okay? I ain't telling no lie. My mama's still alive. Daddy sat up there, got caught up in the 80s and in the 70s, hitting that white powder, you understand me? Smoking on a glass DIC, you understand me? I got caught up in the streets. I lived in Albany Projects. I lived in Suffolk Projects. I lived in Flatbush. You understand me? East 18, Church Avenue, Nostrand Avenue, Kingston, Saratoga. I'm from there. I'm from Queensbridge. I lived in South Jamaica. Y'all not finna sit up here and gaslight me. I'm not that type of stupid Negro. You can go find some of these other little weirdos and start talking to them crazy. That's what I'm telling people. You can't talk to me like that. You understand me? I come out of the gutter, and I find truth. I'm not gonna let somebody because of their color or because of who they are let me lie to the public. This is the best book you ever gonna find, child. I'm a writer. I write books. Okay, this is a great book. That's why I take it everywhere I go. Ain't nobody selling me nothing. Okay, I love the Book of the Dead too. There's some great books that are out there. I love the Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of books that I like that may not have much to do with this or that. I love the Hobbit books, the Harry Potter books. But this is a different breed right here. This is real life right here. And some of y'all need to know that. And again, the reason why I take my time to break down how they have deceived us, how they lie to us, how they brainwash us, because when you start to put this together, you start, oh shoot, I see what you're saying. No wonder they demonize the Church of Latter-day Saints and call it a cult and put on the smear campaign. Listen, when you go into church, they got you believing that some weird stuff happens. And, you know, some magic comes out. They hey, come here. The devil is with us. We're going to plug you in. You know, the demons are going to. You sit. You go in these folks' home. You sit up here like this. Where is all of the stuff that I heard online? Where's all of the craziness that I've been told? Ain't even there. You sitting up in there lying to you. This is the same thing that happens when you get out of the country and you start listening to international news. You start moving around and shaking at some of these other countries where you heard all of this stuff about Africa, or you heard all this stuff about India or Dubai, and you get there, it's a whole different story. You hear all this stuff about Germany. It ain't nothing like what they just been saying. And this is the ignorance of our people. You know, Americans have been dumbed down so bad. Okay? We don't know nothing. And that's why I'm saying, man, no offense to Google. I'm not just going to Google something I want to go see. Y'all not showing me no bridge. I'm not going for that. I want to see. You can't just lie to me. I'm not going for that. This book right here. Yo, I be so. North Korea? What about it? So you want to check out Russia? Oh, hell yeah. I love Moscow. Nigga, you are smoking crack. I'm from New York. One of my first girlfriends was Russian. Spasiba. I go in there and get some of that bread. I seen that pretty white girl in there. I said, hey, what's up, man? Can I get that bread right there? She said, yeah, we got you. She's my classmate. They used to make fun of me. I grew up in Coney Island, Brooklyn. If anybody know Brooklyn, that's all Russian out there. I grew up with Jewish people off of Eastern Parkway. Orthodox Jewish people. Bensonhurst. I grew up with Italians as well. I'm from New York. What you mean, fool? I grew up with Dominicans, Cubans, Haitians. I don't judge people's country off of who they are. Just like I don't judge white people based on shit that happened back in the day. I don't judge Muslims based on what their country policies are. I'm not that type of stupid, ignorant Negro. You can't put me in that type of box. You understand me? I love Ukrainians too. Yeah, I love my favorite country now. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all now. I'm an Ireland type of guy. I love them fresh speaking, hot blooded, crazy Irish people. They fresh to death though. They fresh, boy. Irish is listen. They language is legit, bro. I love the Irish. The old Irish too. Oh boy, Scottish. That's me. If I could just pack up my stuff and go to live with the elves, or I call it the elves because it was like the Lords of the Rings, or maybe the dwarfs or whatever, the free peoples of Middle Earth. I'm definitely going to Scotland. I'm going to Ireland. And some black folks get said, you gonna go live with all them white folks? I don't see color like you do, baby Paul. I'm sorry. I don't see the world the way you do. That's why I went to go live in the Middle East. I was out there having a blast. They said, man, my family said, you in Africa? What you doing in Kenya? You sure they ain't gonna eat you? No. What you gonna eat? Fruits, vegetables, whatever they got. Bread, water. So what you doing in Ethiopia? It's been 8 months. You ain't scared to be in there? Oh no, you gotta watch out for the hyenas, but I'm up in Ethiopia 3 different times. You ain't scared to be in there? No. Nope.
The other place has a so it's only 2 things. It's not 3. Yes.
I loved it.
You have the much smaller.
No way. I loved it. I should have even came back to the United States, wasting my goddamn time here with these crazy behind people, putting you behind to work like a damn slave. The rest of the world operating much different than our crazy behinds. I don't know what the hell I'm doing back here in the United States of America, working my behind off on a damn plantation. But I love my country. But I have really enjoyed the other countries. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Mm. Say, bro, you ain't got no gravy? Y'all have any gravy?
Gravy?
Yeah, the rice is really dry. Okay. 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 Give me 1 second here. Shoot. Listen. I go to Turkey. I stay there all day, baby Paul. Kurdistan. Afghanistan. Anywhere. Me? Oh, look. I'll be up in Croatia, Romania. You ain't scared? No. New Zealand. I'll live in New Zealand the rest of my life if I could. Switzerland. I'm a different nigga, boy. For real, for real. Need some of that gravy there, boy. And you know this, man. See, God's favorites have a hard time. They always say this. The black sheep of the family, that's me. Always turns out to be the goat. It's true. My daddy used to make fun of me. Not in a bad way. Son, why you always want to go around these other people? Why you... You know why? Because I got common sense. I'm sitting up in here living in a doggone ghetto. Right? I said, why we ain't got no stores in our community? Why they always selling us something? Donuts and selling us nails and everything. What is wrong with niggas? Y'all talk all that, this and that, and we ain't doing nothing. So I said, you know what? I want to move around. I want to travel, go to some of these Asian stores, get me some of this Asian food, Asian groceries, Asian vegetables. Because when you go into black neighborhoods, all of our food is genetically modified because they know niggas is stupid. They ain't going to check nothing. They don't care. They don't know about genetically modified. But when you go to the other nations, they grow their own shit. So they know ain't nothing, no pesticides and stuff like that in their stuff. Our stuff, ooh, that's good now. But the church, a lot of their saints, oh man, they don't let the wrong nigga in the church, boy. I'm loving it. I love the church, a lot of their saints. Excuse my French. I'll be saying, Lord, I'm just a dumb black guy who was born in a dump right there. Somehow the phone just fell. Don't worry about that, y'all. But I say, God, please give me an opportunity to get out of this situation and do something different for myself, Lord. And the Lord said, I'm gonna help you now. I know you're going through it, and I know you don't know no better. I'm gonna help you out. And that's all you can do is ask God, is to help you out. In my community, we can't see. That's why we always waiting for Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Farrakhan. You know, we need somebody to come. The Honorable Messiah Marcus Garvey, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. We always need to somebody help us out. We can be blind. We stupid. Save us. Why don't you open up your damn eyes and get your behind a passport, okay? And take your behind somewhere and travel and learn what the hell's going on anyway, right? That's what you should do. But guess what? We don't like doing that. Cause we out here chasing the pussy, smoking the weed, drinking the 40s, chilling on the corner, rolling the crack, rolling the dice. That niggas, what niggas do? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they come in our community, set up the donut store, set up the gas stations, sell you your Newports, sell you your Black and Miles. Oh, that nigga different right there. We like this podcast. We ain't know. I'm about that life for real, for real. What, you thought I was from Zimbabwe? No offense to Zimbabwe. I'm from the streets for real. I ain't got no problem with telling y'all my story. Because that doesn't make me. Just because I come from them kind of crazy places, that doesn't mean that that's me. You understand? I'm royalty. But sometimes you can find a diamond in the rough. I came down to two parents specifically, so God, I'm tested. And to see if I'm going to get out of this. Am I going to just stay here in this crap? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Really. Boy. Mm-mm. Like Pops and the Wayans brothers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is good stuff, y'all. Mm-hmm. I love everybody. I do. I'm different. I'm gonna stay that way. Um, I don't eat meat. It's not because I don't like meat. I had to learn my lesson. You know, my thing was, as a black community, we're not gonna force good, healthy nutrition in our community, so I can't eat in our community. We're not gonna put good jobs in our community, so I can't live in our community. We're not going to invest in our community, so I'm not coming around our community. We're not going to build great women in our community, so I can't date the women in our community. We're not going to create industry and wealth and health in our community. I don't go nowhere near soul food. I don't work for black folk. I don't deal. See, I do minimum dealings with black people. No offense. And it's not that I don't like black people. Black people don't like themselves. Because if you did, you would clean up your neighborhood. You would have a better dietary. Muslims have common sense to put in good dietary. Jewish people have good sense. Asian people, people from India, they do their own dietary. Black people to this day still have not enforced in all 50 states a different eating dietary for our people. Because we just don't give a fuck. And we want you to get mad if you don't want to deal with us like that. They do not force their women to be a certain way to the men in a loving way, or the men to the women. We just let it just go any which way. We're talking about why you ain't with a black man, why you ain't with a black woman, because you don't give a fuck about each other. You don't care about your children. You let them go to any school, any public school, and then when they change the curriculum on you, you start complaining. Why are they taking this out to school? Because it's their school. Why you ain't got your own school? Get out of here with that, man. We don't enforce nothing in the black community. Nothing. Actually, we do. We enforce democratic values, abortions, sexual diversity is now in the black community. That's all we enforce now. You know what I'm saying? Hatred for other nations and other white folk. That's what we enforce. We don't enforce nothing else. It's a shame that the average young black kid, when he get out of college, he has to go work for a white person, an Asian person, or some other person, because black people don't put together industries for our own community. Come on, man, get out of our face. Y'all miss me with that foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Stay woke. I love this book. Y'all ain't gonna gas me up. This book go with me. Get away. Nigga, y'all ain't gonna fool me. I was dumb before, but now I done found. I used to be blind, now I can see. I used to not have a passport, but I got one now. I used to not be illustrious, I am now. You cannot put me back in the dark. I'm not stupid. You don't need that book. You need a holy Bible. See, that's why you don't have this book, because you don't know no better. That's all right. See, that's a plain one right there. Good old Randy. Randy's trying to do right, but Randy's been brainwashed by the denominational churches. The denominational churches are in charge of people like Randy, and they're just like the international bankers. It is a cartel, a coalition of international church organizers that keep the flock in a sort of, mental Tartarus bond. You need the Lord. Come to church. Shame on you. You better wake up, buddy. Let's look. People ain't stupid no more. They know stuff flying in the sky and things going on. People's just woke. Love you. Stay woke.